Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Armand Puyolt.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? ¿Cómo está mi gente latina? Well, I'm here to show you how to make 7 figures within a year. Who's ready to make 7 figures? Say aye. One of the things that I want to talk to you about today, I'm going to start with a little bit of my story so you guys understand where I come from. I used to be I used to be a son of a single mom. How many single moms in the room? We used to get kicked out of every apartment after every apartment after every apartment because we used to pay too much rent. You remember that? So one of the things that happened was during my childhood, we slept in cars, we moved around, we did a lot of different things. But we got to a point when we moved to, in high school, when I moved to a certain high school, and what happened was that I didn't want to move no more. I didn't want to make friends anymore. I mean, I didn't want to lose my friends like I always did. So I started selling chocolates and candies from a backpack. And when that happened, I started getting that entrepreneur type of feeling. How many entrepreneurs are in the room? Say aye. See? Now, I'm here to really tell you how to do and how to act, basically how to think. Because one of the things that changed for me is that I got into network marketing at 16. By the age of 20, I made my first $1 million a year. By the age of 25, I was doing over $5 million a year. Then at that point, I got a little cocky. And I got a little, I got a little top of myself where I said, you know what, this can never end. And all of a sudden, we got a little slope where we just moved, made a little bit of money, and we thought, this can never happen. 7 figures can never happen again. Got into a little depression. And during that time, I learned that if you really want to make it happen, no matter where you are at, no matter what company you're at, no matter where you're sitting at this moment, it is you who's going to make it happen. Not nobody else. It's you. Now, 2010 in February, I was diagnosed with gastric cancer phase 4. I was given 6 months more to live. Luckily, I have a beautiful wife who's a medicinal doctor, and she started feeding me a lot of this stuff that I did not believe in it, by the way, but I took it because I loved her. And 6 months down the line, I'm still alive. But what happened during those 6 months is what's important. Because 7 months later, I was alive. 10 months later, I was alive. A year later, 2 years, 3 years, 9 years later, I'm still alive. But like I said, what's important is what happened within those 6 months. If you had 6 months to live, what would you do different? If you right now, the doctor said you are dead in 6 months, what would you choose different than what you're doing now? See, when the doctors told me I had 6 months, I had invested everything into my business. Everything. So if I was to die at that moment, I had not a dime to leave for my kids. I had not a business for my leadership. I had nothing that I could do. So now I'm telling you right now, what would you do different? But because there's so many rules now in multi-level marketing, I have to give you guys a warning, so please listen.
Warning. The content of this training by Armand Puyolt has such empowering information that it can change people's lives. Please refrain from viewing if you're a conformist, live without aspirations, live without dreams, live without goals, or if you're simply one of those people that are alive just because you breathe. If these type of people insist on seeing this training, Armand Puyolt will not be responsible for causing intense desires to change and transform your life from tragic to magic.
We are all entrepreneurs. And when you feel like an entrepreneur, when you own your business, you feel like you're at the top of the mountain, right? A lot of you who came in to the business, the day you signed up, I bet you the first thing you did was like, you went home and you said, man, I'm gonna make $1 million, right? All of you were excited, you were up, you were going like, this is nothing, we're gonna kill this, we're gonna do everything possible to make things happen. Then all of a sudden, you get those people that start being negative. You get those people that start telling you, oh, one of those things again, huh? Oh, what happened with all that product you have from that other company? What about all those brochures you have underneath the bed? And then little by little, you feel like you're falling. You feel like you're collapsing. You feel like everything is ending. Let me explain why this is, okay? 98% of the population works for the 2%. That means 2% of you are entrepreneurs. 2% of the whole world are entrepreneurs, people who own businesses, people who own everything, and then network marketers, we're a very slight sliver of that just yet, but we're growing. Now, let me teach you how I see things and the way I see things. Because sometimes you pick up a rope. How many of you have ever played tug of war? You pick up a rope and you start tugging against another team, and then you're tugging so hard that one of you are going to lose or one of you are going to win, correctly? Now, imagine this. Business and network marketing is like a tug of war. You pick up the tug of war. When you signed up and you said, I'm going to make $1 million, this is the best deal ever, I signed up, we're going to kill it. The first thing you did is you picked up the rope and you thought there was nobody going to pull on the other side. So you could pull the rope with all the strength that you can. There's not going to be any friction against you. Now, when you got home, the very first thing you picked up, he goes, oh, one of those things again. As you start pulling, I was like, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden, you're pulling back. He goes, no, but this is going to be great. This is going to be, he goes, you crazy. That thing doesn't work. Like, oh my God. All of a sudden, you're looking at who's pulling. Is your kids, your wives, your husbands, family, people you love, friends that you love. People you thought, I thought they were business people. I thought they were business-minded. So you have to understand that not all of us have the gift to see the vision. It's not their fault that they can't see what you see. You guys understand that? See, let me show you how I see it. Entrepreneurs, to me, are like giraffes. A giraffe stands up, it can see the horizon, it can see as far as he can see. It can see there's going to be a better life. He can see where he can go. He can see a lot of different things. Now, the beauty to that is that out of those 2% who are entrepreneurs in this room, very few of you are eagles. Now, what's an eagle? Why are you not an eagle yet? Why are you not flying yet? Because eagles are people who don't need an upline. You know, it doesn't matter what they're making right now, but they don't need an upline. They're doing meetings. They're doing everything they can. They don't need the company. They don't need no one. They're just running. How many of you see people like that all the time in your business? Those guys are eagles. They know what they want. They know what they're going to get. They know the desire to be better. See, I'm tired. I was tired and sick and tired of being just regular. You want to be in a position where you can do anything you want to do, correct? Now, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're an eagle, you like to help others. You're willing to do what it takes. You'll do meetings for people that they're not even on your team, and you don't care. Those are eagles. The eagles do not give up for anything. See, an eagle is so up high, they can see exactly what they want. And they don't need nobody else to point out where the things are. Now, here's the problem with all of you giraffes who are in the house. The problem with the giraffes is that you are so high, you have that gift of vision, but, you're always looking and wondering, should I, would I, could I? And that's the problem. Now see, to me, 98% of the population, that means your grandfathers, your dad, your family, your friends, to me, they're all turtles. Why turtles? Because they're low on the ground, they're happy where they're at. They're happy with that job. They're happy earning that minimum pay. And when that happens, guess what happens? People start feeling, they start thinking, everybody is a turtle, everybody should be a turtle. All of a sudden, you start wondering, why is your business not growing? Why are you not growing? It's very simple. You're asking the wrong people for advice. You ask, the very first thing you did, you walked in your house, he goes, what do you think about this business, Dad? Dad goes, go back to school, son. You're never going to make it there. That's just for those people who are very top. And that's not true, by the way, because there's a person at the very top, they usually call the master distributor. I surpass them in various companies. So there's not a top. The top is you, and depending on what you do. See, my friends, the other issue is that you ask people who you think are professionals too. So you're asking somebody who's standing in the room maybe, and you go like, so what do you think? Oh, I think, we all have that uncle. I think you have to do it this way, and you'll make $1 million. But he never has done it. You have to ask people who's walked in the shoes that you want to walk. You got to ask people, my friends, people that do what you do and have what it takes to have, or has accomplished what you want. So you have to turn around and ask the eagles. You got to ask the people who are actually working, become shadows of these people. You got to take what they do. See, one of the things that I did when I was younger, before I made $1 million, I hooked up with somebody, and I said, you're making 20 grand a month? Really? And he showed me. It's like, oh, my goodness. So what do you do? You know what I did? I shadowed him. I was the guy carrying the bags all the time. I was the one doing the flip charts because there was no PowerPoints back then. I was like, and I was learning everything he was doing. And here's the kicker. He had verbatim, word by word by word, every presentation, like it was a script. Every word was exact. So I learned it. So I saw him so many times. I learned it. And I did my first presentation alone. I called myself Sean. Because I was copying everything he did. And guess what? I still closed the room. I even said his dumb jokes that I thought were dumb, and people still laughed. The problem here is duplication. You got to duplicate. You got to follow the eagles. Simply duplicate what the eagles do. If you can do that, my friends, ultimately, you start flying too. See? So it's very, very important to see what you are doing every day. Now you would see the mindset of an entrepreneur. Let me let you know. For example, you're a big giraffe. And you're asking a turtle, so what do you think? Where should we go? The turtle's like, no, we're good here. You don't need to go over there. But I see a river over there. No, you don't need to go to the river. We're here. You have grass. You have a tree right here. Well, you need to go over there. They try to bring you down. Why? Turtles don't want to move. But you're born to move. Then they go, oh, but I'm scared. Guess what? Fear is a liar. Everything you do, my friends, for maximum success, you must go where fear is at. And that is a huge problem. Because when you grab that rope, you picked it up, and you go like, yeah, I'm going. And people start tugging back. He goes, oh my God. No, he goes, and then somehow you got somebody to help tug with you, right? He goes, all right, we're going to do this. And we're tugging. We got another person. And then all of a sudden, he leaves. And all of a sudden, you're getting tugged back. You know what ends up happening? That emotional roller coaster is the prime example of how to get a heart attack really quickly. If you don't look and you don't make your goals and you see what's going on. See, my friends, you know what's wrong with your network marketing business? You think you have time. You know what I learned, my friends, when I was dying, when I was told I was going to die in 6 months? I learned the value of time. Time is so valuable. It is the only asset you can't re-require. You can't get it again. You can't reacquire it ever. Because, see, what happens is you guys give it away all the time. You rather watch 23 episodes on Netflix than build your business. You rather be proud and go into somebody, oh, I just saw the whole series of Nuevo what? And you still have your business to grow. Then you're complaining your business is not growing. You're doing what the turtles do. You're just a giraffe that's a turtle. I mean, you're the biggest turtle in the world. Because you have the vision. So you start asking people with vision, things start to change. See, my friends, even if you're on the right track, my friends, what ends up happening is that if you're on the right track and you don't do nothing, eventually you're going to get run over by a train. You're going to get run over in life. So now I'm asking you, what would you do? What would you do different? What would you do if you had to hold this rope and pull? When you got up and people said, guess what? I have a why. My first why was my mom. She was suffering. Made me cry when she gave me her last bottle of water and she was giving it to me and my brother. My brother gulped the whole thing and you can still see her lips dry. To me, that was painful. And I was just a kid. Next thing, phase went well. My next why was my kids, my wife, my family. Not being there, having that opportunity, not to be there anymore. You know what? I wouldn't sleep. I learned not to sleep because I was so afraid of sleeping, my friends. I didn't want to go sleep. I did fall asleep because the tiredness just knocked you down, but once you woke up, I didn't want to go back to sleep. Because I knew I didn't have the time anymore. People said, you're crazy. I said, I don't care. I need to build the business. All I can hear in my ears is my kids saying, Dad, I'm hungry. What are we going to do? Are we going to have a home? Are we going to have a life? What's going to happen? And they didn't even know what was happening with me. I knew, but I can hear them. And every single one of you who are just sitting and not doing anything, procrastinating. You know why there's not a procrastinators convention? Because nobody shows up. And that is the facts. See, my wife went with me because she was watching me and she was afraid I was going to die. She was telling me, Armand, go to sleep, rest. I go, I can't sleep, I can't rest. I got to build the business. I got to build an empire that's going to leave a legacy for my kids before I go. I got to build that company that my leadership is going to be happy with and gave them what I promised them. Because the last thing I want to do is lie and give them empty promises. I hold myself to everything that I do. But you got to understand that if you had 6 months more of life, my friends, what would you do next? What would you do with your life that is different now? If you are, my friends, an entrepreneur, if you are, my friends, an entrepreneur, your job is to say no. I know that everybody says no to you, but I'm saying say no to the doubters. Show them. Say no to the people who don't believe you. Guess what? My dad didn't believe in this business ever. My dad said, and he was a weekend dad because I only saw him sometimes. And he said, son, go back to school because I never got to graduate high school because I was working to help my family. Then all of a sudden, he was telling me, go back to school, go get your GED, go do this. And then I started making $1 million, and my dad goes, go back to school. That's only going to be, that's only right now. That's not going to happen anymore. You're going to lose it. I was making $5 million. He goes, no, don't do that. Find a job. Get security. And then one day, I was at a convention. They carried me on stage, and I tricked him into showing up. And from that moment on, he's like, my son, the millionaire. My son, I'm so proud of him. My son, I always knew since the day he was born, when they picked up and they gave him a little slap in the butt, I knew he was going to be a millionaire. But before then, it was all doubt. And we had to show people. You got to show the doubters what you can do. Because here's the deal, my friends. If you are part of the 2% of the world, not everybody, most will never believe in what you're going to do because you have the gift of vision. But it's up to you to hold up against everything that's going to come against you, against everything that's going to tug against you. And you got to remember, what's your why? In my 6 months, when I was told I was going to die, because obviously 5 years later I was told I didn't have cancer anymore. Some miracle stuff happened. When we did a full body scan, it was awesome. I thank God and I thank my wife for putting all this stuff together for me. But here's the deal, my friends. Every single one of you has a choice. You may sit there, be like, oh, this was the best deal. GoPro was the fantastic. I'm going to go home and sit on my butt. Or I'm going to go home and really kill it. Because there's only two options here, my friends. Two options. You can pick up this rope. Finally. You're going to say, no matter what happens, no matter what I'm going to do, I'm never going to finish. I'm never going to quit. I'm not a quitter. I'm a leader. I'm not a quitter. So you pick up this rope. He says, let's go. Let's go. People start talking. You can't do this. Yes, I can. You can't do this. Oh, yeah, I can. My kids go, I'm hungry. Don't worry, baby. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to be successful. We're going to be successful. Let's go. Pull, 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 pull. And you're going to notice one thing. That when you're pulling and you didn't quit, it started getting lighter. Because more and more and more people start seeing the truth, your vision. And they were willing to be part of it. God bless. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.